Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Janet.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you this morning? Perfect. Good morning, our favorite Nigerian wife.
Love the scarf. Money green.
How much is money? Before I say it's nothing. Well, good morning, our international correspondent. How are you this morning?
Okay,
I have to say your name, please. Is Adefemi Akinsoye?
It's me.
Oh, well, all right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending. Nigerians have been reacting to the admission by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board that a technical error compromised the results of more than 370,000 candidates in the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination at 157 centers nationwide. Jamb registrar Ishaq Oloyede, during a press conference in Abuja, broke down in tears, saying that he holds himself personally responsible for the error and for the negligence of the service provider, and then proceeded to tender an unreserved apology. Let's take a look before we share some reactions.
As registrar of Jamb, I hold myself personally responsible including for the negligence of the service provider and I unreservedly apologize for it. We unanimously agreed that each state of the Federation be sampled. No sign of any abnormality so far has been detected in any center outside the ones mentioned. So I appeal to the candidates and those affected by the error of our system to accept the explanation I've given as the truth on this matter. I apologize and take full responsibility, not just in words. I want to say a big thank you to all of you, and may God bless us all.
Thank you. Thank you.
This was quite commendable by the Jamb registrar, owning responsibility to this sort of, I would call it tragedy, because a 19-year-old girl died, Temileng, I believe her name is, like you said, Dr. Abati. And, you know, Jamb has said that they will conduct a rescheduled UTME for all affected candidates starting Friday, May 16th, and the candidates will be notified via SMS and email and phone calls. But Nigerians have reacted. Let me take this Kalu Aja's tweet. He wrote, "My thoughts are with Nigeria's children who face mental trauma from their nation for wanting to sit for an exam. The Jamb exam is pivotal for every Nigerian child, determining higher education and future opportunities. Students spend a year preparing with extra classes, coaching, and pressure from parents, schools, and peers. Imagine the emotional roller coaster they've endured. Anxiety before the exam, stress during the exam, shame for failing, depression. Now, what do they feel? Relief? If Nigeria were more organized, these children would receive psychological evaluations before being asked to rewrite an exam. They were told they failed due to no fault of theirs. We have scarred these children and the nation. If a child fails to resist, will they accept the result? Will parents not claim the entire process is now fruits of a poisonous tree? These kids need strong counseling. I pray parents, teachers, guardians, and state governments provide this emotional support. Children are too young for Nigeria to happen to them. And, I think Kalu Aja's tweet is quite apt, especially, about the emotional support that these children that have to rewrite this exam may feel after they were told that they failed. Yesterday on What's Trending, we played those videos of those young girls, and we had a conversation actually after the show about students who say, listen, I know what I wrote in my exam. I know I did not fail. And I told you guys yesterday that this is what I tell my children. I ask them, did you pass? And when they tell me I'm not sure, I say, then you failed because you don't know what you wrote. But if you're sure and you're confident in what you have written, then you know that you really deserve the credit that you got. Let me take another tweet, which, a lot of people have talked about. This is from Idan, who wrote, so it's possible they tampered with this girl's result from the back end. Jamb has proven time and again that it can't be trusted with something as critical as an exam that determines the future of thousands. A child has already taken their own life because of this. And that's the picture of, I believe, Mesoma, the young girl who, I believe last year was, she had said that Jamb had tampered with her result and that there was a finding, and then they said that, it wasn't Jamb, that she had cheated. And these are the sort of conversations Nigerians are asking, hey, what's really happening? Why did this happen? But it's good that Jamb has accepted responsibility. We hope that the federal government find a way to, provide some sort of counseling for our children, for them to be able to take the next step of their life with confidence. Vimbai.
Earlier when we touched on this topic, I gave a bit of the historical antecedent,
yes,
which is why, because some people might wonder, well, why is this such an emotional issue?
It is.
It's because there's a historic legacy around it, where we've seen, I read some newspaper front pages from the past, 1993, where they were reporting that what is the future of Jamb? There's too much controversy. Should in that particular article in 1993, they were saying, should it be scrapped in totality? In 1998, when Jamb was celebrating 20 years, they were saying after 20 years, did Jamb deserve a pass mark for the work that they have done? And it's the same story over and over again. I just opened another one now from 1997. PM News front page, Jamb announces 95,000 results. Lagos candidates most affected. So there's a systemic thing, recurring issues that we're seeing, which shows you that, yes, as much as this one is a technical glitch, it shows you that there's also a cultural issue within the organization, yes, that needs to be looked at. Now, why are we highlighting Professor Oloyede? Because Professor Oloyede is one of those few people who've been bold enough to actually come and face it and confront it head on and say, we have made a mistake. There is a challenge, there's an issue. So I hope that this can be a turning point in this organization. Now for those students, oh my goodness, if you see how students around the world feel when it's time for GCSEs, O-levels, A-levels, it is a time of high stress and anxiety because this is a rite of passage into adulthood. We know the situation in Nigeria and how difficult it is already to get a job, even with the degree, with the certificate, with the qualification, even with that. And now you say, just to get the admission into the university is a struggle as well. So I think that definitely we need more support structures for our students, not just as a means of damage control because something has happened, but generally, how supportive are we? Because even if you look at the actual quality of education itself, there's some issues that need to be addressed there. Now there are issues of mental health surrounding, especially exam periods and so forth. Those are issues that we really need to look at holistically when we are looking at education and issues surrounding education. Very lastly, Minister of Education had made a statement saying that this was a sign of some corrections that they had made to address exam malpractice. And I wish he maybe hadn't rushed to make that statement because it's now clear that there really was an error.
Dr. I believe you want to say something.
Okay, this point about systemic failure, should be backed by appropriate context. Yes, there were problems in Jamb, but in the past, all these 1997 articles, 1996 articles, those were issues in the past. When Professor Oloyede took over in 2016, he took over from Professor Dibu Ojerinde. One of the things he has been praised for is the reforms that he has been able to initiate in the place in terms of, staffing, in terms of computer-based test systems, in terms of revenue generation, in terms of transparency and accountability. So it would be incorrect to use articles from 1997 to assess the Jamb of today. The second point, which Professor Oloyede himself made, is that, look, man proposes, God disposes. But in this case, the big tragedy is that a life was lost.
Yes.
The remedy that is now being applied will not apply to Timileyin Okpeshusi, who committed suicide. Now, what exactly happened is the deployment of what they call a software patch, which they now discovered that some of the service providers could not apply properly. Which means that if you wrote an exam, you answered 100 questions in a particular subject, because of the wrong deployment of that software patch, you may be assessed only for 25 or 50 questions. And then the remaining 50 questions will not be uploaded. And that is why I think the challenge for Jamb is to realize that technology is not perfect. And that, it's a trial and error process until you perfect it. Usually before any exam, there is mock examination where all these things are tested. Still, it failed. That means that's an area, as Professor Oloyede continues with his reform, that he has to look at. Now, opportunities have now been given for remedial exam. The reason they have to do it within this available window very quickly is because WAEC is also running exams. Some of these students who are going to write this exam, they also have WAEC exams. After WAEC exam, there is NECO. Universities are going to, go back. There will be resumption in September. So there's timing. But I just hope that the appropriate lessons will be learned on all sides.
All right, very well said, Joel. Well, I hope that, those students are able to get the courage that they need to rewrite the exam. Yes. And good luck to them, really, especially the ones that say, hey, I'm brilliant, don't mess with me, really. I said that before. Well, meanwhile, let's talk about these, systemic failures here. I'd like to highlight the story of a Nigerian assistant surgeon who sparked a conversation online after sharing a photo of herself using a phone's torchlight during a surgical procedure. The surgeon posted the photo on X, expressing her excitement about assisting in the surgery with the caption, "I was the assistant surgeon today." I mean, this photo garnered a lot of reactions because what is a phone's torchlight doing? Look, I would like Adefemi's expression right now because she is aghast at this moment. I mean, that's the picture of the day for me. Like, how is it possible that during surgery, instead of the real equipment being used for surgery, it's a phone's torchlight? Her name is Dr. Rocky, and then she wrote, "This is Nigeria. What do you expect?"
That's what Dr. Rocky is not serious. Let's just start at the very beginning. You cannot...
It's a dog.
It's a dog?
It's a dog.
It's a dog. Okay. Oh, I'm about to unleash.
Okay, go ahead.
Because if it were a human being, I would say you actually cannot do that. Yes, there's a systemic issue in terms of lighting and that. But if it were a human being, did they consent for you to operate on them using a phone? Like, I just think that on all corners, the doctor should say, I cannot perform a surgery under these. That's not something to be commended for. Yeah. And even though it is a dog that we're now hearing that it's not a human being,
it makes no difference.
The point still stands. You cannot do that. Yes. Are you going to charge the people who are paying for the operation for what? I don't know. I don't like this type of thing at all.
That have said, oh, it might have been an emergency and all of that. No. But, these are the sort of stories that we wouldn't want to see in Nigeria. Well, let's now switch gears, shall we? To politics. Senator representing Edo North, Adamu Oshiomhole, has reacted to the gale of defections by politicians to the All Progressives Congress. Oshiomhole, during a live television interview, said that former Vice President Atiku Abubaka is the most popular defector and should write a book on why politicians defect. Oshiomhole also dismissed claims of disunity within the ruling APC, saying Atiku's defection shows that personal ambition drives political shifts. Let's take a look.
Those who started defection, the man, the most popular one in the history of Nigeria, is His Excellency Atiku Abubaka. When, as a sitting vice president of Nigeria, he decamped from PDP to ACN, which is now part of APC, was it coerced by ACN that was then led by Bola Tinubu, Asiwaju Tinubu, not a non-state president, as of that time? So that will help to settle all these arguments about whether there's cohesion or no cohesion. Was Atiku Abubaka coerced by Tinubu to come and join us in ACN? I was governor in ACN then. The best person who can write a book on why people decap should be the former Vice President Atiku Abubaka.
The fiery comrade, Adamu Oshiomhole. Vimba, your thoughts on this story, because it's been, going around. I mean, it really borders down on the mass defections that we're seeing, as it were, to the APC. I mean, APC members are saying, our party is because we're doing so well. That's why there is defection. Adamu Oshiomhole here is saying, it's normal, natural.
Well, I'll keep my comments very short because I don't know how to fight. Number one, let's just put it on.
Why do you want to fight?
I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know how to do that one. So let me keep my comments very... No, on a serious note. We discuss this regularly, which is the issue of... There are several issues at play here. Number one is we question ideology. And in doing so, yesterday I remember there was a comment from the former governor Rotimi Amechi around how there used to be, in his own estimation, there used to be governors who stood for something and were ready to, back their, principle or ideologies no matter what. And his comment was that the current governors, well, are they really able to do that? What do they stand for? Has our politics become essentially transactional? And are people just going where the bread is buttered for them? Now, around all of these allegations are the issues that most of the opposition politicians are saying that it's not that the ruling party is a rosier place, but it's because there is some sort of inducement that's happening to bring people in from opposition. They're saying that the EFCC is being weaponized. They are also alleging that various threats are being made. That's what the opposition is saying, in alleging that APC is, is using force to bring people into their fold. Well, the APC in response, as Comrade Oshiomhole is saying, APC didn't invent defection.
They didn't.
Defections existed long before the APC itself. In fact, defections led to the creation of to the bringing to power, of the APC as well. So what he's saying is that the opposition, what is it offering? What does the opposition actually have to offer that they're saying that the only reason anybody would want to come to the ruling party is because of X, Y, and Z? So on both parts, I think there are elements that we need to take out from both sides of the conversation, because truly, the PDP crisis, Labour Party crisis. I believe somebody was saying that, if he opens his mouth now to say everything that's happening in the Labour Party everywhere will smell. I mean, this is what's happening. When we're supposed to be looking at governance, we're supposed to be tracking governance.
Was the year that we're supposed to be tracking governance instead of the race to 2027.
So, so in essence, that's what you see there. Then very quickly, Oji, I want to challenge the doctor, because I get worried when I see this is Nigeria, or this is... We have to be careful about the branding of our country.
I love that point.
Very, very careful, because these things, remember we touched on this yesterday, and it's important. Yes, we don't need to falsify information about the realities of Nigeria, but we have to be careful about this is social media that the whole world is seeing, and we're now saying that this is our brand. No, that's not Nigeria's brand. You're going to take a story very soon, I'm sure, that's going to tell us the Nigerian brand that is needed, or the Nigerian brand that we want. So we need to be careful. There was the movie where they said, this is Africa. Was it Blood Diamond? One of the movies where they say, if something bad happens, this is Africa. No, this is not Africa. This is not Nigeria. We're working on it. We're work in progress.
Yes, we're moving forward, really. Well, all right. Let's take another story now. U.S. President Donald Trump's historic meeting with the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, in Doha, has generated a variety of reactions. It was the first time a U.S. president made an official state visit to the Gulf country. Well, after announcing a series of deals between the U.S. and Qatar on Wednesday, Trump attended a state dinner where he met with dignitaries, including Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote. Well, a video of the meeting between Dangote and Donald Trump has since made the rounds on social media. Let's take a look. This was amazing. You know, Aliko Dangote was introduced to Donald Trump as Africa's richest man, to Trump's surprise. I guess you guys don't know this. And Trump was like, oh, really? I mean, he was quite shocked that, you know, he was meeting Africa's richest man, our Aliko Dangote. And he sat at the high table with U.S. Treasury Secretary and Elon Musk. I mean, Trump's meeting there had been trending because of that controversy with the gift, the plane gift and all of that. But I think for me, the image of Aliko Dangote, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, with President Donald Trump signals a huge appreciation for what a man like Aliko Dangote has done for the continent and Nigeria.
And it just shows exactly everything that you've just said. And it just shows that there's still so much further that I think that Nigeria's star has to shine. I'm actually surprised that Donald Trump didn't already know who Aliko Dangote is.
Can I say that? I thought that Aliko Dangote went with President Buhari in 2018 to meet with President Trump. I thought that happened in 2018. I saw that story. But
I mean, he's gotten a bit older. Maybe memory has, like, you know, left him a little bit. But he shouldn't be surprised, because I think that when you say, oh, really? Like, why wouldn't you surprise that, you know? Aside from that, I think that what Aliko Dangote has done and continues to do throughout his career and up until this point is really put Nigeria on the map, show his love for this country. As we've been discussing, he is the largest employer of labor in terms of the private sector in this country, and that is something that needs to be accounted for. And with Trump, he seems to be very, very happy this trip across the Middle East. He's spoken very highly of everybody he meets. You know, during the World Brief, there was a discussion that perhaps there's some sort of barter where in these different countries, there could be the possibility of like a Trump infrastructure. So being that he met Aliko Dangote, I wonder if he wants a piece of the refinery, have it called another name.
Well, you never know. Well, kudos and congratulations to Alhaji Aliko Dangote. It was a great visual for Nigeria at large. Another Nigerian who met with President Trump in Doha is Adebayo Ogunlesi. Ogunlesi is a prominent lawyer, investment banker, and private equity executive. He's best known as the chairman and CEO of Global Infrastructure Partners, a leading private equity firm specializing in infrastructure investments. Ogunlesi made headlines in January after GIP was acquired by BlackRock in a $12.5 billion deal, with Ogunlesi joining the company as a senior managing director and member of its global executive committee and board of directors. I mean, you know, when he made this news in January, we wanted to share it as our good news report. And it's amazing that, you know, he joined dignitaries in Doha there at that state dinner, along with Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, to meet U.S. President Donald Trump. Dr. Abate, I saw you wanted to say something. You did say, you did highlight earlier that he's from Ogun State. And can I help you? Can I help you mention that as well on what's trending? He's from Ogun State. Dr. Abate is very proud of him as well. Well, kudos to Alhaji Aliko Dangote and, of course, Adebayo Ogunlesi. Let's take our good news report now from Kaduna State, where the state governor, Uba Sani, has established Nigeria's first lithium processing plant with a capacity to produce more than 30,000 tons of lithium per day. More good news. Well, according to the Kaduna State government, Kaduna State is blessed with more than 70 solid minerals, including lithium, gold, tin, coltan, wolframite, titanium, and iron. with the establishment of the new lithium processing plant, the state governor, Uba Sani, is repositioning the solid mineral sector in the state to generate more revenue, create jobs, and curb the activities of illegal miners. Nigeria's first lithium processing plant is located in Kangimi village along the Kaduna-Jos Road. I mean, this is such a huge accomplishment for Kaduna State. I mean, Uba Sani, this day awarded Uba Sani Governor of the Year, and he has actually proven that fact with this Nigeria's first lithium processing plant. You know, Kaduna State generated 30 million naira from the mining sector alone last quarter of 2024. The state's commissioner stated that there's been a significant reduction in illegal mining operations as a result of improved surveillance. I mean, there's the surveillance system now put in the Kaduna State area for mining. I know that the state has also formed a cooperative society for former illegal miners to help them become more productive. They will serve as foot soldiers, according to the state governor, for any investors coming to the state. Nigeria now has the first lithium processing plant. I mean, this is such an amazing news. For Dr. Abati.
Well, I mean, it's a very interesting development.
Yes.
That, look, in Kaduna State alone, they have 85, special minerals, including titanium, including lithium. Lithium is used in electronics and production of batteries and all of that. And they have other things, cobalt. And it's interesting to see a state government coming along and saying we are going to explore this. But there are challenges. The existing challenges will be as follows. One, the Mining Act of Nigeria of 2007 vests the ownership of mining resources in the federal government of Nigeria. So it will be interesting to see how, Governor Sani of Kaduna State, works with the federal government. Two, it reaffirms the fact that Nigeria is a very blessed country with resources everywhere. So it's not just petroleum that we have. They have gold in some other places. They have tin in Jos. Now, and this is what we say about productivity. If you are productive, you can generate resources, even at the subnational level, for the benefit of the people. Now, environmental considerations, impact assessment in terms of the environment. I hope they've done all the due diligence so that the communities will not be affected, and that the interest of the people of Kangimi village and other areas will also be taken into consideration. And that, of course, at the end of the day, the national mining policy, I think it was first formulated by Dr. Obi-Ezekwesili, fine-tuned by Dr. Fayemi, and now you have, the present Minister of Solid Minerals also, focusing on it. It's one area of productivity.
Absolutely.
One of those, low-hanging fruits that Nigeria can further invest in. Thank you very much, Dr. Abati. I'd like to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. And kudos, Governor Uba Sani. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.